century. He is a hometown boy. In 1990 to 1991, his team led District 52 to distinguished district status. It was the first of 4 years in a row that District 52 was distinguished. And ladies and gentlemen, we're starting that tradition again. Because we were distinguished last year, we're going to do it again this year, right? Right. Yes! Joe Marcello, our district governor, will love to hear that. Our speaker served as International Director from 1995 to 1997 and on the Executive Committee of Toastmasters International from 1998 to 2003. In August 2001, and I was fortunate to work on his campaign, he was elected by Toastmasters all around the world to serve as our international president. Our speaker has traveled extensively on behalf of the organization, presenting to audiences in the United States, Canada, as well as the Philippines, Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, Hong Kong, India, Switzerland, Germany, and China. In today's lively, and trust me, this will be a lively, interactive session, he will discuss how we, that's all of us, can share the gift of Toastmasters by starting a new club. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause in welcoming one of our hometown boys, our past International President, Mr. Alfred Herzing.
Madam Director, officers of District 52, fellow Toastmasters and friends, it's great to be back home in District 52! Sister saying, yep, it's still snowing. So back there, they're happy to be indoors. You know, it's like, oh, it's warm, it's nice inside. But here in Southern California, we have so many other opportunities. And I know you all like Toastmasters because you're willing to spend your Saturday to be here. And I applaud you for that. But I want to know who amongst you love Toastmasters, because I love Toastmasters. Now that's not going to be all of you, and that's okay. It's okay. Alright, that's okay. But I love Toastmasters because what it's done for me. I joined Toastmasters right here in District 52. Thank God for Beverly Andrews. Beverly Andrews was a governor of District 52. I don't know if she was governor when she chartered my club or not. But she chartered a club at Union Oil Center, downtown Los Angeles, where I went to work sometime later. Because I was already at work, at lunchtime, and how many of you do eat lunch? You know, I was eating lunch. They are having a meeting. It's like, okay, I'll go check it out. I wasn't looking for Toastmasters. I didn't know how it would change my life, but it was convenient. It was there. I went and checked it out. And wow, was I impressed by what I saw. It was really the leadership development side of Toastmasters that really interested me. But if I hadn't joined that club, I probably would never have joined Toastmasters International. Because again, as a young guy in my 20s, that tells you how long I've been at Toastmasters. I wasn't looking for extracurricular activities. I wasn't looking for anything new to do. I was happy with what I was doing with my career. Well, boy, did I not know what I didn't know. But if it weren't for Beverly Andrews, I never would have joined Toastmasters. And because of Toastmasters, since joining, I got 5 promotions in my career. And I know in at least 2 of them, it was the leadership skills I learned as a Toastmaster leader that helped me to get those positions. And so it literally changed my life for the better. I am so grateful for Toastmasters. And the reason I'm still a member is, yes, I like to give back, but it's because I'm still learning and growing too. You know, I always laugh at candidates. Roberta, you've heard it, when candidates are running for director or higher office and they say, I've gained so much from Toastmasters, I just want to give back, and that's why I'm running for office. To me, that's the equivalent of saying, well, somebody has to pay the income tax on that lottery winning, and I'm willing to take that hit. You get so much more out of Toastmasters. I want to hear your stories. How has Toastmasters changed your life for the better? I told you mine. 5 promotions. Anybody want to share? Yes.
You caught me mid-cookie. Hi everyone, my name is Gladys from Loquations. A year and a half ago, I started dating, and as a result of joining Toastmasters about about 13 months, as of New Year's of this year, I'm now engaged. I really attribute that to being able to communicate boundaries and emotions in a way that someone else can evaluate.
So because of the communication skills she learned at Toastmasters, she was able to build that bond with that other person, and now they're engaged. Wonderful. Great story. Many people have found their spouses in Toastmasters. You know, Scott Williams, who served on the board with me as international director, was also from District 52, and he met his wife at Toastmasters, and it was a good thing. Anybody else want to share their story? Yes.
Hello. I'm Jan Sabata, Area Governor D40, and I just want to tell you how much Toastmasters has changed my life. When I joined, I thought about joining for 6 months before I joined. Wow. And it was the lovely Jackie Sanders and Diana Offit who said, come join. Well, in the time that I've been a Toastmaster, I've gained a lot of confidence. I've perfected my elevator pitch. And I don't know if you guys know, I'm a knitter, crocheter, crafter. Because of my elevator pitch, I've been able to get a job for Red Heart Yarns, Coates and Clark. I write for them on their blog. Now this year I'm going to be a designer for a knitwear company. Wow. I'm also going to be writing for 10 different crafting magazines. And I'm going to be product developing and product testing. And I attribute this all to Toastmasters because I did not have the confidence I have 4 years ago to stand in front of all of you and talk to you and share my story.
Awesome. Toastmaster helped her get the job of her life, her dream job. That's awesome. Anybody else? One other person. Yes, sir. Come on up. Because it's important you understand the why.
Thank you. Ricky Powell, and I've been in entertainment forever. I've been at Universal, NBC Universal for 23 years. I had heard about Toastmasters ages ago, at a seminar probably 20 years ago. Always wanted to join, never had the time. And then I saw in our company newsletter that NBC Universal wanted to start a club. And it was done through one of our affinity groups. It was the Asian Pacific American Forum, and I hadn't even heard of our affinity groups before. So my first question was, I picked up the phone and said, do I have to be Asian to join? And when the answer was no, I jumped on it, helped them charter the club, became VPE, and even though I'm still at NBC, it's given me a whole new career. It's been so incredible. I've been able to become a professional speaker now, a coach and consultant, all because of Toastmasters. I never would have thought that one day I would be doing a keynote at our district conference and speaking at not just NBC, but Warner Brothers and for so many different organizations, and I owe it all to Toastmasters, so you are in the right place.
It is a gift. Toastmasters is a gift. And it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. And that's why I think our clubs need to vote in our members. Because membership in this organization is a privilege. And if they turn out to be a problem member, if you voted them in, vote them out. Right? It's not for everybody, and that's okay. In the book of lists, what's the number one fear in the list of fears? 3. The product of Toastmasters is an improved human being. Because nobody can be a member of Toastmasters, not just because, have you all been through change? Yeah. Not all change is for the better, right? But Toastmasters changes people's lives in a positive way. It gives them skills that will help them in their personal, professional lives. We heard some stories here. You heard my story. And I don't want to dwell more on that, but it's important that you understand the why. Why is this important? This is life-changing. And if you want to give a gift back to humanity, I mean, we all want to feel like we made a difference in this world, right? This is something that you can do, ladies and gentlemen, that can leave a legacy. Leave a legacy by chartering a new club. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do the whole process yourself. We have a team here in the district that will help you, but I want to take you through some of the key steps so you understand how it all works, okay? And we do have a handout there, Steps to Charter. Does everybody have a copy of that handout? If you don't, raise your hand, and we have some of our magic helpers that will give those out to you. It starts with a lead. A lead. And by the way, as a district, we have... Governor, stay standing. If you haven't heard it already, I'll repeat it. We want you to make sure that a club gets chartered this year in your area. You own that goal. Now, that doesn't mean you have to personally charter these clubs, but we do expect from each one of you a lead, a sponsor, and a mentor, the first 3 steps. Now, if you want to be part of the rest of the process, you're more than welcome, but we need those 3 things from you. You ready to do that?
Yes.
All right, have a seat. Let's give them a round of applause. Area Governor's the best job in the district. And if each one of you wants to be a part of this process, whatever piece you can do, believe me, Janet and her marketing team would love. Have you ever had a presenter that knew his material, but wasn't very succinct in getting to the point and really presenting it in a clear manner? Oh, yeah. Toastmasters can help you with both of those. And that's all I need to say. Sold. So, yeah, we need that in our company. Some companies will pay for Toastmasters for their employees. Unical was that way. They paid all the international dues. But I always required that the members pay at least a nominal fee. Ours was $1 a month. Put some skin into the game. Why? You get buy-in, you get ownership. Right. If it's completely free, boy, there's nothing. Now, when I was international president, my 3rd vice president was John Greiner. When he went through the chairs and became international president, he visited Standard & Poor's. He did a presidential visit to Standard & Poor's in New York City. They have a really neat program for their Toastmasters Club at Standard & Poor's. This is a smart company. When their Toastmaster members earn their competent communicator, the company pays them $1,000. Membership problem in that club? But think about it from the company's perspective. Is that a smart investment for them?
Yes.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you had better believe it. It is a great investment because when that person goes and speaks, they're representing not only themselves, but they're representing the company. And they know that a Toastmaster is going to be more eloquent, will present themselves better, they will get to the point, they'll do meetings properly, they will do all the things properly, not only externally, but internally, and the return on investment is absolutely there. So that's a smart company, that's awesome. But again, the members, I think, should have a little bit of skin in the game. So that's about the lead. Any questions about club leads? Because it starts with the lead. Again, thank God for Beverly Andrews. If she had not started that club at Unical Center, I probably never would have joined Toastmasters. And by the way, the company moved. That's why I'm now in Founders District. We moved to Orange County, and that building shut down. It's now Los Angeles Studios. It's been in tons of movies. And in Austin Powers, it was Virgicon's world headquarters. And Collateral Damage, it was the patio where Schwarzenegger's family was killed at the beginning of the movie. I mean, it pops up in movies and commercials all the time. But the club is no longer there. But while it was in existence, I'm estimating about 400 people participated in the Toastmasters program over the years that club was in existence. And you got a future international president out of it. Hey, not so bad, huh? But it's not about me. It's about the cliche of throwing that pebble in the pond and seeing the ripples. All those people's lives that were changed. And we heard some examples here. You could give the gift of Toastmasters and help somebody else. Now, to start a club, we also need a sponsor and a mentor. Now, you can have 2 of those per club, but we'll start with 1. A sponsor is responsible for making sure the club gets chartered and the paperwork gets submitted to world headquarters. That's the responsibility of a club sponsor. The mentor stays with the club for a minimum of 6 months. Personally, I recommend a year, and acts as a club coach to guide people along the right path of doing Toastmasters the proper way. Because we have all these rules in Toastmasters, but too many of them are unwritten, right? What are the unwritten rules of Toastmasters? The standards of excellence that we like to impose. Uh-oh, we could have a problem here.
Don't apologize.
Don't apologize, yeah, no.
You make a presentation, don't apologize.
Okay, but that's not a standard of excellence. How about this one? Meetings start and end on time. Have you heard that one?
Yeah.
Okay, meetings start and end on time. We need to impose that. We need to teach a new club right from the beginning. When it's time to start, you drop that gavel, we start the meeting. What's another standard of excellence in Toastmasters?
Manual speeches.
Manual speeches. Only manual speeches. And thank God we changed the culture in Toastmasters. Years ago, this was truly an issue. We had so many non-manual speeches being given. But today, we've really done away with that. But again, we need to maintain that standard. Because if you don't maintain those standards, it's real easy to let things slip. Sometimes it's little things, like the right way to do table topics. You know the right way to do table topics? I'll let you answer that question. Because I just demonstrated it.
You ask the question first, then you point.
Very good, exactly. Like I said, I just demonstrated. And your name is?
Bill Jeffrey.
Bill Jeffrey. Thank you very much, Bill. You ask the question first, and then you pick somebody to participate. Why? Everybody goes through the mental exercise. What if he picks me? What if he picks me? What if he picks me? Oh my God, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? And halfway through their answer, you come up with what you would have said, right? But it's just human nature. We're lazy. So if you say, okay, Roberta, this question's for you, what do we all do?
Check out.
We're just like, okay, let's see how Roberta answers this one. We check out. But we want everybody to have that practice of what if I get called? Let me start thinking about my answer. And so it's a little thing, but it's a big thing, the right way to do things. And so that's what the club coach does. It just helps guide the club. Like I said, it's a minimum of 6 months. I personally recommend a year. And then you can pull back if it's not a club that you want to continue to stay with because of your schedule, not because they're not wonderful people. But you have given them that foundation so that they can move forward. You know, I chartered a club many years ago. We just celebrated our 20th anniversary, Your Berlin Achievers. And it's really scary when you hear that because you're like, wow, when I chartered this club, I never envisioned it would last so long. And it's amazing if I think back of the number of lives that have been touched. Now, Roger Montero, another gentleman, was really the genesis of the club. It was his idea. But two of us came in, the experienced Toastmasters, acted as sponsor and mentor for that club. But it was Roger's idea. But I'm the one that's still with the club after all these years, and I'm still keeping them on the right track. When somebody does table topics wrong, I'll stop them right away and correct them. Why? Why do I need to do that right then? Maintain the standard of excellence, because if I talk to them after the meeting, all the guests that this is their first meeting, and all the newer members that are still learning the program. Remember what it's like when you're a new member? It's like, what, how do you do this? And I go, Mary, can I remember what? There's so much stuff to remember. And so they're going to think that's the right way to do it. So you have to correct it right then. And so it is tough. Sometimes I feel like I'm an ogre, but that's why and you look like one too, yeah. Speaking of looks, yes, I know I look a lot like Alec Baldwin, okay? And I get that all the time. When any of you see Alec Baldwin, I want you to say, you know, you look a lot like past International President Herzing. All right, so once we have the key contact, we'll schedule a launch meeting. Now, when we meet with that key contact, we're saying we want to have a launch meeting. And by the way, I want to recognize Charlie Patton. Charlie's in the back there, right there. Charlie, take a stand there. I'm still learning in Toastmasters, and I was giving this presentation last year, and I talked about doing a demo meeting, and Charlie raised his hand and said, in District 5, we call them launch meetings because we want to make it clear we're there to launch a new club. I said, I love that. I'm using it. That's great. So I'm still learning and growing too. That's another reason I'm still in Toastmasters. We do a launch meeting to launch a club. Yes, question.
We call them kickoff meetings.
Kickoff meetings. That's the same thing. Great. You're clear. You're there to kick off the club. Now let me ask you a question. Do we want to kick off and launch a club in 1 meeting or 5 meetings?
One.
1. Why? Time is short. I'm busy doing other things, right? You bring in a team to do a launch meeting, you want to do it in 1. So when I meet with the key representative from an organization, I say, we're going to bring in a team and we're going to demonstrate a mini Toastmasters meeting for you. I want you to guarantee, and by the way, I got this number from the great Roberta Perry, yay! 30 people, I want 30 people in that audience or we don't come out. Why? Why 30? Not everybody's going to join, right? And how many do we need?
20.
20. Have you heard that number before?
Yes.
20. Why is 20? What's the big deal about 20? Charter strength.
20 is charter strength.
Yeah. Why? But why 20? Where the heck did they come up with that number? Well, I'll tell you since you don't know. If you look at the number of duties you have in a Toastmasters club, the average club, it's about 13 roles, roughly, right? The timers, the grammarians, the speakers, evaluators, all the different roles. It's about 13 people. Can everybody make every meeting?
No.
No! So what you don't want to have is this situation, and I'm sure this isn't your club, but I'm sure you've seen it. You stand up, you give the invocation and pledge. You sit down. You get called for table topics. You speak, and you evaluate the other speaker. Can you relate to this? You have a guest at the meeting, and they go, hey, you want to join? They go, no, I can't do it. But with 20 people, you can spread out the workload. Nobody's overloaded. You know, a few years ago when I was on the board, we did a survey of our membership. You know what the number one thing our members want when they speak before a club? The number one thing. An audience. You got it. An audience. I mean, imagine. You've spent all week preparing your speech. You've done it before the mirror. You videotaped it. The dog knows your gesture. And you get to the meeting, you're all prepared to go, and there's 5 people there. What a letdown. I'm here to learn public speaking, not speaking in small groups, you know. And so we need to have 20 people. And so we want to, when we do a launch meeting, we're going to want 30 people there to ensure that we get 20 because we're doing it once. All right? Now, full disclosure. In my meetings, I do charter in 1 meeting, but it's not necessarily that night. When I chartered my Beckman Club, we didn't quite have the 20s that signed up that day, but I had enough people that said they wanted to do it that I did get all the signatures. The charter paperwork was completed before the 2nd meeting. The club I started in July. The sponsor had promised me, we're going to have 30 people. I've got 35 RSVPs that are going to be there. The night of our launch meeting was Game 7 of the NBA playoffs. 15 showed up. We didn't charter that night, but we did charter before the next meeting because we had enough people that said they wanted to do that we did do that. I don't want to bring launch teams back for multiple meetings. I want to do it in one shot. So what is a launch team? What do we do in a launch meeting? We do a mini version of a Toastmasters meeting, which means we're going to have 1 speaker and 1 evaluator. And that speaker, you bring in Lance Armstrong, the world champion of public speaking, as your speaker in a launch meeting?
Armstrong? You get Lance Miller.
Lance Miller. Did I say something?
You said
Lance Miller. Oh, sorry. My apologies, Lance. Lance Miller, apologies, not Lance Armstrong. All right, do we want him?
No.
Why not? It'll intimidate them. They're like, oh my gosh, I can never be like that. So you want to bring somebody that's giving speech 3 or 4 of the program, somebody that's just getting started, somebody that has enough confidence. Okay, I'll get in front of these 30 strangers. but not somebody that's so polished that people like, oh, I could never be like that. Oh my gosh. You want somebody that they could relate to. And I like the speech to be about the benefits that they are already seeing by being a member of Toastmasters. We'll demonstrate table topics, and we'll ask members of the launch team to participate in that. We'll have a timer, we'll have a grammarian, but do we need a thought of the day? Do we need a joke master?
No.
We don't need all those other things. It's an abbreviated meeting. And at the end of the meeting, we ask the key question. Who's ready to join Toastmasters tonight? Hope we get a better response than that. You'll have the costs already figured out. You know, this is what it's going to cost. And if you don't have your checkbook with you, I'm sure Sally has her checkbook. She'll be happy to spot you for that. You just pay her back. But we're chartering this club tonight. What are the benefits of being a charter member? Because it is a neat experience. What's the benefit of being a charter member of a club? Do you know? Your name is on the paperwork, yeah. It gets recorded at World Headquarters. Forever. Charter is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for a club. Once a club is chartered with that initial list, nobody ever again can be a charter member of a club. Now, this Yorba Linda Club I was just discussing, when we were a young club, we would have members that would stand up, and one guy in particular, I remember, he goes, "Hello, my name is Eli Ruiz, and I am a charter member of this club." We would all right. And we'd have newer members come, and remember what I said? They learn by observing. We'd have new members come in. "Hello, my name is Ellie Smith, and I'm a charter member." We go, "No, Ellie, no." In fact, that club one time when I was on the board, club number 1 was having its 70th anniversary dinner, and I was invited as a member of the board to participate, and one of my members said, "Oh, are you a charter member of that club too?" It's a once in a lifetime. The answer is no. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Once that charter is submitted, nobody ever again in the history of that club can be a charter member. And another advantage of being a charter member is everybody starts off together. I tell these groups when I'm doing the launch meeting, you guys have such a great advantage because you're all going to start together. You're going to be working the program and progressing. And I guarantee you, you will have guests come in just 3 or 4 months that will be in awe of how good speakers you are. Because they will see the progress that you've made. Not that they knew what you were like before, but they will be impressed. And you guys get to do that all together on a level playing field. That's awesome. That's awesome. So we do the launch meeting in one meeting. Who'd like to be a part of one launch meeting? Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah. Come on. Give your name to Janet, and she'll let you know when we're having a launch meeting near you. It's like when I always crack up when I hear these commercials where they say 22 convenient locations. It's like, and 5 inconvenient locations.
Very timely for me because I'm starting a club at our company, Universal Music Group.
Excellent.
Like you.
Great.
And it's very timely because we have a meeting with the executive vice president, and I will bring actually that paperwork
Great.
there. And as well, I want to say that next week I'm starting a youth leadership program at her school.
Beautiful. That's wonderful. And your name is?
Nia Angelina Samir.
Nia, I congratulate you. That's wonderful. By the way, for you advanced club starters, when you're scheduling the meeting with the executive, which you already have, here's the magic phrase to use. We'd like to have a short meeting with you because we're only asking for 10 minutes. We're not doing an hour meeting. These people don't have time with it. We'd like to have a short meeting with you to discuss the benefits of having a Toastmasters club in your organization. Let me say that again and into the camera. We'd like to have a short meeting with you to discuss the benefits of having a Toastmasters club in your organization.
Actually, I'm very lucky because they had the experience already in another location.
Beautiful.
We want opening it in Woodlands.
Good.
And actually, the executive vice president, she sent the invitation to me and my boss, who is the executive sponsor.
Perfect. So yeah, you're a step beyond that. That's great. What if the response from the organization is, no, we don't need Toastmasters? What do you say to that? We say next. Say it all with me. Next. And we say to ourselves, you're a bunch of idiots. I don't want to deal with you. what I said to them. We'd like to have a short meeting with you to discuss the benefits. Who's going to benefit? They are. Benefits of having a Toastmasters club in your organization. And their response is, no. Next. We don't waste any more time with them. Because does everybody have to have Toastmasters?
No.
No! Should everybody have Toastmasters?
Yes.
Yeah, except for this one guy I'm thinking of. But absolutely, this is the gift of Toastmasters. Think what it's doing for you in your life. Wouldn't you like somebody else to have that gift? You can do that by chartering a new club. And somebody better be keeping me on time here, okay? Give me the signal when I look, because I can go here all day. This is a great audience, and it's a great subject. It's something I'm so passionate about. So when we do the launch meeting, we charter the club in one meeting. We have experts in the district that submit all the paperwork and take care of all of that. If you're not an expert on it, you don't have to be. But the key is to find a viable lead, a sponsor, a mentor. We do the launch meeting. We have a minimum of 30 people there. We charter in one meeting. By the way, how many people does it take to do a launch meeting?
30.
No, I'm talking about the launch team, the launch team.
5, 7,
3.
3, 7.
If you have Alfred.
I don't recommend this. But in Roberta's introductions, I want to clarify, most of those countries that I traveled in, that I spoke in, it wasn't paid for by Toastmasters. So I was working for companies where I was doing international travel, and while I was there, I also spoke to audiences professionally, but also did Toastmasters. When I was on a business trip in India, we had arranged with 2 companies that I was working with that we would do a demo meeting, a launch meeting for each of those companies on the day that I was in that city. Let me repeat that. The day I was in that city. One day, one meeting, one Toastmaster doing the launch meeting. And it was hilarious because I was running on. I said, okay, now I'm the Toastmaster. Say, good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Welcome to our meeting. And now I'd like to introduce our table topics master, Alfred Herzing. And Alfred comes up and says, this is the impromptu portion of the meeting. And I'd say, okay, now here's the first question. How do you think you could benefit from Toastmasters? And I ran into the audience. I said, okay, now you stand up, stand up. Don't lose your life. There you go. And you would say, Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. And then I would answer the question. Thank you, sit down. And I'm just running all over the room demonstrating what it's all like. But they don't know, so I have to do it all. And one of them was videotaping it, and I always wanted to go back and visit that club and see if their members were running all over the But we as districts put so much focus on speech contests. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not what it's all about. Speech contests are fun events, and we love to see our champions progress and move on. But at the end of the evening, what's the result? We have one winner, and hopefully everybody agrees with that result. How many people does it take to put on a launch meeting compared to a speech contest? Much less. Much less. Think about it. The judges, the timers, all the other things, people. Probably 20 people are involved in putting on a speech contest. Is that fair? How many does it take to do a launch meeting? Like we said, 5 down to 1. And the result is something that will persist. You're giving birth to something that could outlive you. Something that will give other people the chance to give the benefits of Toastmasters. Ladies and gentlemen, think seriously and hard about this because it's such an exciting thing to do. It's not the gift of life like with blood. It's the gift of Toastmasters to change people's lives. I encourage all of you to do it. Let's go build some clubs! Woo!